Today, we're going to be looking at the final installment, unless you guys want some offbeat sideline, the final installment of the King's Gambit repertoire. And first, I want to say thank you guys for watching my videos. I got one video that hit like 2,500 views. I thought that was going to take like years, and it didn't. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And then, I expected, I don't really care for views, but it does make it nicer to continue to make videos. It's like every video gets like a couple hundred views. That's pretty crazy to me. So thank you guys. Um, Today we're going to be looking at the Falkbeer counter gambit. That is D5. This is what most people have trouble with against the King's Gambit. It is also pretty popular, so you have to know it. I used to play in a way that I kind of liked, but sometimes ran into trouble. Then I kind of tweaked it, and I really like the way I play against the Falkbeer counter gambit now. So you have to take the pawn on d5. They're trying to destabilize everything. Of course, we cannot take here. You might lose a rook on like move 5, so you do not want that. So you take on d5, and now they have two possible moves. Well, they have many possible moves, but two theoretical moves. They have pawn up, and they have pawn takes. First, we're going to look at pawn takes. This is correct. We take them, they then take us. You do not care about holding on to this pawn right now, so the move is knight to f3, stopping this check. I'll show you a couple games. There are traps in this line. For example, let's say queen takes d5. Not a good move. You want to gain a tempo on the queen. You might say, hey, that is a check. King f2. You might say, king f2? Why would I ever play this move? There's a reason. It induces people to play bishop c5. It's just a very tempting move to play bishop c5 because you gain a tempo, all the above. But this move is losing, actually, because you go d4 attacking the bishop, and when the bishop comes out, since our king is on f2, we use this check, development check, rook e1, picking up the queen. I've won a lot of blitz games, a lot of bullet games. I hope you guys fall, or I hope your opponents fall into this trap. I think you will get it eventually when you play the counter gambit because it's just very logical moves. And yet you are just crushing. Like, it looks like they might get like some amount of material for it, but your pieces are too active. Their king is in the center. This is going to be a quick win. I can assure you that. So you should not take with the queen if you are black. You should hope they take with the queen if you are white. So, okay, knight to f6, attacking the pawn. This is usually what is played. Now, I actually recommend holding on to the pawn. A lot of theories suggest d4. c4 is just as good and a lot less common. So, c4. Now, probably c6, trying to either gambit another pawn, which you should not take, or win the pawn back. I recommend the former or latter. Go d4, control the center. Now the decision is up to them. They cannot really go bishop d6 because you would just go c5, kicking them with a bunch of tempo, throw in a check. They cannot even do this, for example, because knight e5 check. So they have to go like king f8, and then you would go d6. And I mean, look at this pawn structure. You're destroying. They're gonna give a check. You're gonna block the check. Everything is good here. Now, probably what they're going to do is take the pawn. Seems right, and it is right. Now, here, I used to play knight c3, but I actually recommend the move c5. Usually, this is a positional overextension, not so much in the King's Gambit. It locks in this bishop that sometimes wants to go to d6 and to defend the pawn. So c5 kind of locks in or cages in the bishop. You might say, well, what if they start attacking the pawn chain, right? Trying to destabilize it. Then it kind of turns into Queen's Gambit-y territory, just without this open diagonal. But let me show you what I mean. So a5 attacking the base of the pawn chain, just challenging its integrity as a whole. We would give a check. We would then go queen to a4. You see they cannot take because they would hang a rook. If they take this, we would take with the b pawn. We have a big space advantage brewing. They might take, and then now it's really good for white. If knight bd7, this is just not good. You can do many things. You can take the pawn. You can castle. I'm always going to recommend castling when their king is stuck in the center. You can exploit that very nicely. If they go queen d7, for example, they drop the b6 pawn, so that would be a free pawn. So not easy for them to play this position. If they go knight b8, it gets even worse. You just go c7 check. If they push, you would queen, they are pinned, they lose. So this is a cool idea, building up on the queen side. If they don't go b6, like say they go knight c6, you're just going to collect the pawn, and now you're not even down material. Their bishop is a lot less scary when it's forced to go to e7, and then you could just develop normally, for example. Whenever they go bishop g4, I like going bishop e2, just cut the pin when it's made. And then you can either castle or go h3 here. Say, castling, just good principled chess, let's say. You're then going to go h3. If they take, you take with the bishop. You have some good bishops, some pressure in the center. If they go back, the bishop is a lot less scary on h5. The middle game idea is going to be, okay, so let's say they go knight e4, planting a knight in the center. You do not want to take, because if you take, they're going to remove a defender, and then basically will be adding an attacker onto d4, winning that pawn. So you'd go h3, kicking out the bishop. If the bishop takes, you would take back. If it slides back, you would just jump a knight into the center of the board. Now it's kind of like a Dutch claiming e4, e5. And there's a lot of tension in the center, but it's all going to simplify itself. Like, for example, you might get bishop takes bishop, knight takes knight, b takes knight, kind of have to, queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes. And I like white's prospects better. I believe his pawn structure is more fitting for the dark squared bishop. And I think you're just faster to claim the open files. You have the open e file, the open f file. You can cook in this middle game, as we say. So that is one possible line. There are many. Another one would be, okay, let's say they don't take. Let's say they push. In my opinion, the better move. Less common, though. Okay, so the point of this is it stops knight f3. They're never threatening queen h4 check because we always have g3 just gaining a tempo. So again, if they push e4, go c4. Not theoretical, nearly just as good as the theoretical line. A lot less known, and they're not used to people holding on to the pawn. So a bunch of pluses from that. Now, you might be annoyed at bishop c5. How are we possibly going to deal with this bishop on this diagonal? Funny enough, the move is pretty gross, pretty disgusting, and that is b4. So you gain a bunch of space advantages. You might be like, that's a free pawn for black. Do you see why it is not a free pawn? If you're thinking queen a4, you're a genius. You win the pawn. They can't go knight c6 because the head of the pawn chain guards c6. You would just win the bishop. You might be like, that's a trapped rook. No, it ain't. Knight c3. And now whatever they do, like say they develop, I like just going knight ge2, putting pressure on the bishop, defending the knight. Not much they could do. I mean, they could take, of course, but now you could take with either, and your bishop is going to get out. Your other bishop is going to get out. You're going to castle. Probably going to go d4 if en passant. You could take with the bishop. Could even go d3, force off the trade if you're really annoyed at the e-pawn. So white has just a massive space advantage here. What else could they do? Oh yeah, a different move order of the trap. So like, let's say they take, or let's say they take first. I've gotten this in a couple games, believe it or not. I'll show at the end of the video. Knight c3, queen e6, knight f3, baiting them to take with check, baiting them to check, forcing them back. Now you give the check and you win the queen. Just to prove, these are, I got 2 games in this position. I'll show one real quick. This was against a woman grandmaster, you know, a GM, as we say. And knight c3 hitting the queen, queen e6, knight f3, bishop b5. See, so a slightly different move order, and then they resigned. So it happens. You don't need to resign here, but the same results would ensue for sure, unless I played a bad move. Then it wouldn't, but we'll never know. They resigned. So this is most of the Falkbeer counter gambit lines that I could think of. Let me know if you get any deviations that weren't in the video. I can make another video. I love the King's Gambit. I can talk about it for days. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Good luck with the King's Gambit.